Yeah, you good you good beef. I'm good beef. You good beef. Okay, not we're done. That's the thing of what I'm camping. I don't make sure that this one has to be with money. Same up for me. Where you at? Hey, you have Uncle Baba? Are you a good girl? You have Uncle Baba today? Yes, you are. Welcome, guys. Here's some viewer weather outlook here. Hello, guys. Welcome in here. Today, we're going to go over our severe weather outlook here, or severe weather today coverage today. It's going to be kind of short here. I don't know if we're going to be here much, but we have a couple of storms down here in Georgia here we're going to cover here because, as I said, I want to keep on updates. I don't know how bad they are, but these places don't normally get as many severe weather. They do get in, but it's not as kind of common as like the. So we're going to go over here and do it. There's two severe thunderstorm warnings that we have right now. It's not expect it kind of be an easier day for you guys if you guys are doing severe weather. Expect an easier day for you guys in terms of weather. Make sure you guys do drop a like and subscribe. There is a slight risk here in Texas here that we might have to go over today, but some better coverage here today. Just throughout the country. I'm trying to do more country ones here. Texas is also in a slight risk, so make sure you guys are keeping track of that. Welcome if you guys come and tune in. Hmm. Huh. Hmm. You guys are coming in. Make sure you guys do drop a like and subscribe here for this. We are live. We're gonna go over some of these right now here. Welcome guys here. Again, we're going to start here with some coverage here. We're going to go over here just these severe thunderstorms. There's one in North Carolina and one in Georgia. We'll go first with them in North Carolina. Here there. It's quarter-size hail, 60-mile-an-hour winds. As this is going to kind of goes towards the coast here. So as it gets off the coast, we kind of go away from this storm. This is some moments here in North Carolina, but this is going to go for New Bern. And just going towards the coast here. New Bern. Jacksonville, you might want to keep an eye, but like New Bern, Washington. You guys, there's some severe thunderstorms. And they're moving to the east right now with 6-mile-an-hour winds and quarter-size hail. Here with those storms here. As we go back over here to Georgia, here there's a severe thunderstorm warning here for again quarter-size hail. This one had a tornado warning earlier on it, but it's just now severe thunderstorm warning here. So make sure you guys are keeping track on that one. This one was a severe thunderstorm or tornado warning a little bit earlier, but it is now just currently a severe thunderstorm warning here for that one. So make sure you guys are keeping this. This is up in Georgia here near Shiloh, Woodland for quarter-size hail and potentially damaging winds here. There's currently not a whole lot going here right now in terms of severe weather right now, but there is a couple of slight risks here towards like Georgia and the Carolinas, and then there's one in Texas here that could be currently going on here for slight risks here. As we've seen it this year here, and sometimes these slight risk, moderate risks have produced some of the worst storms here this year. So definitely want to keep an eye if you're in these. I don't know if we will necessarily expect tornadoes, but some of the worst storms we've had up to this point this year have been in some of the slight risk, moderate risks, or slight risk, enhanced risk, where there might be a moderate risk. So just definitely want to keep weather aware for these storms. Obviously, right now, I may not be the biggest tornado threat here. The Storm Prediction Center, I think, has only like a few small percentages of it, especially compared to what we've had. But you always got to be prepared for these storms. These storms can fire up, potentially cause tornadoes or storms or anything. So you definitely want to be weather aware when you're doing any severe weather here. Here you have, is there severe thunderstorm warnings here? Not much of a concern here. We can go down here and check rotation on these, potentially see if we can have anything developing here. You see, there might be a slight thing of here, so we might want to keep an eye on this storm here. Might be a slight rotation risk here, but definitely might keep an eye on these storms here. There might be slight rotation on this one, but I want 7 frames. Sorry, well, I have 50 frames up, but there might be a slight chance for some. There might be some rotation trying to develop here, so we want to keep an eye on that one. But there was a tornado warning here. Definitely want to keep it maybe right in here, going towards Talbot and some of those. So you might want to keep an eye on those if you're in Talbot. Was it Talbot or whatever, and Talbot in Georgia, Waverly Hall, Junction City. You guys want to keep an eye on this. Potentially, we'll keep an eye. And it might looks like there might be hotel right in here, and potential rotation kind of coming in. But there was a tornado warning on this earlier, so definitely want to keep an eye on this storm. We'll see if that continues to do anything. Here, as we go to, so I'm going to go here and look at here near Talbot. Here, see, this is where we want to be keeping. This would be kind of maybe where we see what it doesn't look anything really strong, and this may be just one thing that sometimes radars do, that they'll pop up, show, look like there might be something, and then the next scan it wasn't anything. But we definitely keep an eye. There was a tornado warning on this storm earlier. Here's another severe thunderstorm warning. We'll go to North Carolina in just a minute here. This is where I would definitely want to keep an eye for anything maybe develop here. If you're in Talbot or Junction City, Geneva, you guys want to keep an eye on these storms. I don't know if we'll see anything from these, but you definitely keep an eye on it here. So make sure you do drop a like here for these streams. Here's we are going to keep it real back here to the one in North Carolina real quick here to give you guys an update on that one. It looks like it may have just been a continuation of that one earlier. Yeah, it looks like it's just a continuation. 60-mile-an-hour winds, and it's mostly just damaging winds here on this storm here. Looks like so. That looks like it may mostly just be damaging winds here. So yeah, if you're in North Carolina, just mostly damaging winds. I'm not too concerned. Just a little bit of wind. Yes, let's go back to this one here in Georgia for you guys here. This one might be the more concerning looking storm. I don't know if it developed here, but it looks like it could be developing some rotation here. You see the scan right in here. This is where I'm kind of concerned potentially, so we'll have to wait and see what tornado warning comes up from that. But this one is kind of a concerning looking storm here, a little bit more concerning. Here would be where you would be wanting to watch. So I'm waiting to see if this kind of develops into anything here, but yeah, I'm just watching it right now. If you've not yet, welcome guys on this Memorial Day here. I'm gonna try to cover it. I know there's a lot of travel potentially coming here, so I'm trying to definitely give you guys updates here if you're traveling or whatever. I want to make sure you guys are aware of storms, because that can be some of the most dangerous ones, because when you're traveling, you're not necessarily thinking, oh, there's tornadoes, and sometimes like there's a lot of wrecks, as you saw up in like Mountain View or Marietta, trucks getting overturned, stuff that happening on the interstates as people are traveling or whatever. So you definitely want to be aware if you're traveling for weather, because that can be some of the hardest time. Because when you're at home doing weather, you can be giving updates or watching the news or watching anything, but when you're on the road, it's really tough to get stuff. So this is definitely a very big day you want to be watching for storms here. Even if it's not, it could be damaging winds, could blow trucks or road cars. It makes it tough. It can be hard to drive in rain, so you could be causing accidents. Even in hard rain can be tough to drive in, because there's a lot of just driving in hard rain is not even easy sometimes. As roads can flood, you can hydroplane, you can have bad vision on stuff just from it. So you definitely want to keep an eye on storms today, as people are going to be on the roads traveling here. So we want to be giving you guys updates here. You guys are checking if you know anybody traveling through these locations. You're welcome to share it with them. You guys are traveling yourselves. You guys can put this on while you're watching, because it could be good life-saving things for you guys here. So we definitely want to keep you guys informed of anything happening today here. And it doesn't look like a lot of people can be live today, because it doesn't look like a very major event. But I know today's a big traveling day, so I'm going to go live for you guys, because of that. It's a big traveling day. I want to make sure you guys are getting updates here from somebody, at least here. And it doesn't look like it's going to be near as bad as some of these other days. But then again, there's slight risks. So you always have to be aware of anything potentially happening in these places, because even if it's a slight risk, it means there's a risk of storms. Risk of a tornado, risk of something here. We can go down and check the tornado outlook real quick. See what it looks like real quick for you guys. Just real quick here. Sorry, pull this up here. Give you guys kind of a tornado outlook here real quick. Here over. I think there's a 2% here. 2% here. Is there a 5% somewhere? Oh yeah, 5% up here. There's a 5% tornado risks up here in the Carolinas, near Washington D.C., Philadelphia. Some of these places have a 5% risks here today, so we definitely want to keep an eye today up here. If you're in Virginia, Washington, Philadelphia, or just outside of Philadelphia, New York. Even New York City's under, parts of New York City is under 2% risk here today, so you definitely want to be keeping updates if you know anybody in Philadelphia, or Philadelphia's under this. New York's just outside of it, so New York City might see a few storms pop up today, so you definitely want to keep an eye, even if, all the way up to New York City, Washington, D.C., Baltimore are under these risks of potential tornadoes and stuff going on today, which is Crazy to think this area doesn't get as much as like the southern, like the plains and stuff. They get some bad ones, but they're used to this. Like if you're in Washington or some of them, you're not used to this. So go back to the severe weather outlook real quick. I think that was just a tornado outlook. Yeah, severe weather outlooks all the way up in the. There's a slight risk in New York City. There's a slight risk in New York City, Philadelphia, Washington D.C., Baltimore, up in Virginia, and the Carolinas all the way down here. And then there's one also in Texas here. We'll keep an eye on too for that here. There are some severe weather chances here. Could be all the way up in New York City. So you could be seeing some severe weather in New York City today. So that's kind of interesting to think. We will definitely keep an eye on that if it goes live, especially something like New York City or Washington or one of these bigger cities like that. We will definitely let you guys know on that. So let's go back now real quick to the storm here in Georgia here. So we're going to go back to that one. This is live here. We will definitely want to keep you guys updated here about the day on these storms. This one, rotation, if there was any, might be brought in a little bit. If there was any chance, I'm keeping an eye on it here. Maybe cycling through a storm right now. It's definitely, let's go back to the radar here, because right now it's just a severe warning storm, but it could potentially get some rotation, make it. So I'm definitely keeping an eye on those. Here, even some of this right now, since we don't have tornado warning, we want to keep an eye on what storms could potentially become a tornado warning storm. So definitely want to keep eyes on those storms specifically. I mean, obviously, there's severe weather anywhere you want to be covering that, because you got to be careful. If it's quarter-size hail, softball-size hail, winds can be damaging, but tornadoes obviously where most people want to see, so we definitely want to keep an eye on keeping those data for you guys. So we are going to make sure you guys do drop a like, subscribe, whatever. We will be trying to keep these informed for you guys for this. This latest scan as scary. It looks like it might be grounding a little bit for if there's any rotation on this thing at all. It might here, yeah. And it's kind of not as much. If there was rotation, then we'll definitely want to keep track. So this one may have a chance, if it does develop anything, would be probably this one right as of right now. Obviously, there's 12 o'clock, so there's going to be a lot more storms probably developing here in the next couple hours. Or it's 11 o'clock there, sorry. 12 o'clock. I'm in Texas, but usually these storms being here, it's 1 o'clock there. So there's still a lot of time for these storms to develop here. Here for you guys in Georgia, the Carolinas, East Coast could definitely be seeing some severe weather. Texas could be seeing some severe weather here. Let's go just to check real quick at Texas here. I think they're more nighttime concern here in Texas here. I think it's a more nighttime concern, but we will definitely want to keep an eye on it here for these storm series. Check if I think they're more night times. It's pretty sunny here, and yeah, there's not much right now going on here. So we'll go back to this right now. We'll go back to the one in Georgia here. Or is it Atlanta that we went? Yeah. Let's go back and check that these storms here. Though there is a chance here we could have it here. The reason which go back and check the velocity on this. Again, it's not much right now, velocity. Just some, looks like probably some small hail. Even then, the hail doesn't even look that prominent on radar. It's probably mostly strong damaging winds on the storm. But there might be some quarter-size hail in there. But it looks like mostly just damaging winds right now in the storm. Obviously, we're going to keep track of these storms for you guys here throughout this day here, potentially. Might have to leave probably a little later today, but I want to get some early updates here for you guys as we go today. I think there's going to be as much coverage today on storms, so I feel like somebody needs to be up here covering these storms for you guys. So that's why I don't think there's gonna be as much coverage today. A lot of people are gonna be taking breaks here. So I'm gonna give coverage here for you, anybody out there who wants to take breaks. I want to give them a chance to take breaks. So there needs to be somebody covering storms potentially here in the West Coast, East Coast, sorry. Blah, blah, blah. So yes, make sure you guys are sharing this, dropping likes, and all that. But yeah, taking a deep breath real quick. Kind of looking around right now, seeing anything potentially developing to watch. Let's go back to this one in North Carolina real quick for you guys. North Carolina. This is a storm. Again, it looks like it's mostly damaging winds. I don't think there's much rotation. We can check. I'm not gonna expect much. Yeah, not much right now. Just damaging winds and potential hail on the storm. Because it's, as I said, a lot of people want to come up with storms and say what causes big storm events. There's two things. There's a couple ways storms be. There's discrete, those kind of cells can produce tornadoes and stuff like that. They can get tornadoes in squall lines like these, but normally squall lines and stuff, big lines you see, when you see a big storm, it's just a long straight line. Normally that's called squall line. Those are normally damaging winds and sometimes hail nodes. Those are normally not the big, they're concerning because they're strong storms. Like you shouldn't take storms seriously, but those aren't normally tornadic storms. Those are normally hail, wind storms, like stuff like that. The discrete cells, like if you see one cell coming in, it has a hook echo or just a smaller cell, those are the ones you want to be watching. Potentially, if it's a very unstable environment, you want to keep an eye on those. You also want to be keeping an eye on if you're anybody doing any type of weather updates. You want to be keeping an eye on those. You want to keep an eye on like discrete stuff. Definitely want to keep an eye on that kind of stuff. But like these, obviously we want to keep an eye on it. Here's there is potential for severe weather here for you guys. Definitely want to keep latest here for you guys on that one. I'm gonna keep. And I'm kind of, if I'm waiting for something to kind of pop up here, so I'm starting the stream a little bit here. So if you guys are looking for something to pop up, you're gonna be watching these storms pop up here. New York City, and there's slight risk, which is, look at that. There's 62 million people in the country under a slight risk of severe weather today here. So definitely want to keep that in mind. There's a chance for severe weather in New York City here, so check that. So I was checking it real quick. Severe weather potential in New York City. So definitely, if you're in New York, you wanna. Chance in New York City for storms here. You see. This is these two severe storms. Just go back to the one in Georgia real quick. Definitely keep an eye on storms here, so make sure you guys are dropping that like. There's not much on that storm right now. But now we definitely want to keep an eye on these storms for you guys here. There doesn't look like much going on here in New York City. Does have a chance of some severe weather today. Here, if you're in the East Coast, from like Philadelphia, Washington, New York City, we've got to keep an eye on that today here. So we're starting here. It's kind of early right now here. Coverage here. I'm trying to do as much as I can right now for you guys here to kind of get you guys prepped. I might have some lunch here while we're having it, so keep that in mind. But make sure you guys are dropping a like here, as New York City is under slight risk of severe weather today, so there's not a lot of coverage going on right now. I don't expect a lot today just because it's been kind of a busy day. So a lot of them are going to be probably offline today, but I'm going to be trying to do as much online as I can today for you guys here in coverage on these storms here. Because there is some severe weather today. It's not as big, but it's still possible today. Here, even in Texas, here has a chance. Texas, New York City, like Philadelphia, Washington. Needs to keep an eye on these storms. My morning coffee. Morning is like 12. Get some coffee. I want to keep an eye on these storms here if you're in. Definitely keep an eye if you're in any of these locations, because there is a chance that storms could fire up today and produce storms and damaging winds or something like that here. If you're in New York City again, there's a chance for severe weather in New York City, so definitely want to keep an eye on these storms. So if you're in New York City or one of these Junction, there's some storms developing out here. These might be where you want to. Let's go over here real quick. Down here, near east of Montgomery, these storms are starting to fire up a little bit here east of Montgomery. Keep an eye on these. There's not any severe weather right now, but there are storms developing. These could be in this great location, so definitely keep an eye on these. What about down here? I don't know if it's just a few storms developing. So there's a few storms developing down here in Alabama, southern Alabama here, and you see New York City's under moderate, a slight risk of severe weather here. You see, there is. I don't know if there's rain or if it's just. See if this is just radar. There's a little bit of rain showers here near New York City right now, but currently there is a slight risk for you guys here in New York City right now. There's not much storms right now immediately, but Philadelphia, New York City, Baltimore, you guys could be seeing some severe weather today, so you guys definitely want to be keeping an eye on there. Looks like mostly damaging winds, but there is a chance for some tornadoes potentially in some of these storms here. So that would be something you guys definitely want to keep an eye out here for. I wouldn't say it's going to be the primary risk of tornadoes, but there is always a chance when you have severe weather. So you always got to be weather aware, paying attention, watching these, getting any updates if you can. Because these are something that you need to watch. And there's probably not going to be a lot of chasers out there. Because these are just the way it is. There's not. Most of the chasers are out towards the Midwest or taking days off. So if there is a storm, it could be potentially not as covered because it's been just a busy month, and this is kind of a smaller day for storms, so there might be some coverage, but I would expect probably a little bit less, just because the last few days have been just crazy weather coverage days. So I decided to come live because, yeah, there's going to be probably a lot less coverage today because just honestly just gets super bad and people have to come on. I'd expect to be less coverage. But that's why I'm here. Even if it's not super bad, I want to give. These places don't get severe weather as much as like the plains. Central Plains are going to get thunderstorms. Like severe thunderstorm in like Kansas. Yeah, it's bad. like severe weather is always bad, but like severe thunderstorm in Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, you're just used to it by now. And you've seen it all the time. I'm from Texas, so like it's not like uncommon to see severe weather. But in like New York City, it may be a little different. One, there's people all over the streets, like they walk through the streets and traffic, and it's just always constantly running. So, and there's not really a lot of room to just get out. If there's a tornado, you can't just drive away. There's so much traffic, or if there's severe weather, you can't just. It's harder that there's just so much potentially in New York congestion. So these places like New York, Philadelphia, you just don't see it as much. I mean, they do get them, but it's like not like Texas, Kansas, Oklahoma. So definitely want to. That's kind of why I'm on today, because these places get it. They need probably more time than even like Kansas to get prepared. So these places need to be prepared. I might be trying to get some rotation to it again. There's some maybe right in here in Georgia. This might be an area to watching these scans. Looks like it may be trying to get some more rotation on this one in Georgia, but it looked like it, but they haven't really done it much. But this one might be trying to get some more rotation in here, so we want to keep an eye right in here on this. Might be trying to get some rotations going on this storm here. So it hasn't had any tornado warnings or anything, so it doesn't officially have anything on it yet. But I would start keeping it if you're in Roberta or Butler or Reynolds. Keep an eye on this storm. Fort Valley. This thing could develop. I don't know if it will, but it could. It's definitely going to keep an eye on this here. I haven't done much, but yeah, there's definitely potential may develop some rotation later on down the road. So definitely want to keep an eye on this here in Roberta, Reynolds, Fort Valley, Butler. Kind of keep an eye on those storms. Okay. Here for this. North Carolina. Let's go back to North Carolina real quick. I'm just gonna look. I think it's mostly just damaging still. Just check. I always like to check rotation, but probably just damaging winds on this. Maybe a little bit here. Just keep an eye on it, but I'm not seeing much right now. So the other one looks a little bit better, closer if it has any rotation or anything. Usually there's no tornado warning on this, but if there is anything that could form a tornado warning here, more imminently, it could be the storm, but obviously it doesn't have one right now. It's more discreet too. It's not as kind of a more discreet supercell too. It's not, so it's a little bit more scarier in my opinion. I'm gonna keep an eye on these because there's not much right now, but we want to definitely keep track of these for potential wraps. We don't want stuff to wrap up. Could. So I'm keeping an eye on this here, this storm here, and this is where it would be too. So right in here would be where it would be if it was gonna develop onto northern ends are normally where we are. So let's keep an eye on it. Keeping an eye on this right now for you guys. If you can, take a look. But yeah, I want to keep you guys. This scan has broadened it a little bit, so that's good. I think this last scan kind of had it broad, so we definitely keep an eye on this though. But so it may broaden it a little bit. It has a chance to form, so that's good to see on this the scan. So looks like it wants to get rotation, and it says nope, we're not getting rotation. That's what it's been doing kind of this year. It looks like, oh yeah, I think it had one tornado warning earlier on it, but then it was canceled. The storm has been, yeah, let's get some rotation. No, we're not going to do that. We don't want rotation. So it's been like very like we want it, we don't. So I'm still keeping an eye on it because there is a chance that these things could develop here, and this is one that would probably be one that could if it did. But one, I don't expect them to develop like they did a couple days ago, like in Texas, Oklahoma, where they spun up and produced PDS tornadoes. But there's a chance if they do, might be a couple of tornadoes here and there. But mostly, I did expect damaging winds and hail today. See, definitely keep an eye on this storm to see if you guys are here because, as you know, New York City's under the slight risk. Philadelphia is quite a big cities on the East Coast. And there's slight risks of severe weather today, so we want to keep coverage. And I don't expect this much coverage today, so yeah. Let's see what this one does again. The cat's meowing here. Yeah. Let's see this. This is still not any. If there's anything on that southern end, maybe? Keep an eye on this too. Southern end of it too. There's definitely some. But yeah. Definitely keep an eye on these storms if you're anywhere near these areas. Let's see if they can throw up in anything. We're watching this here for you guys. Here, I want to keep the public in watching for these storms because, as I said, a lot of them are taking the day. I think a lot of them are mostly taking the day off. A lot of the people, chasers, or some of them are getting this. So it's got to be somebody to have coverage. So we want to keep coverage for you guys. Here for you guys. Let's go back. Check this one more time and see if it's skiing. See, right now there's not much rotation on it right now. Let's see if these storms continue to fire up here. So there is, I think there is a 5% chance if you're in this area of seeing a tornado within 30 miles. But I mean, it's not huge, but that could be one of the tornadoes here in this season. They can pop up like that. So definitely keep on that. I'm going to see if there's anything that pops up from these things. Looks like it wants to, and then it doesn't. It wants to get rotation, and it doesn't. It's been doing that kind of this storm. Doing that for a while now. There's definitely another storm coming up from the bottom that could be potentially helping out the storm later. Here, there's a couple of storms feeding into it. As you see, there's some mergers into the storm trying to help feed it. So we'll keep an eye on that one. There's a couple of these storms out here that could be potentially we want to watch here too. Out southern Alabama. They're small right now, but we'll keep an eye on these here in southern Alabama here. These storms move into southern Alabama. We want to keep an eye on those too. But let's keep an eye right now on this one here. I don't know which radar it uses, so we're just gonna keep on it. Is there another one? Severe thunderstorm warning, and up to that one here right now. Yeah, up here going towards Virginia Beach. Let's get on this one a little bit because Virginia Beach is this right now. It's quarter size hail. We'll go back to that one in Georgia in just a second, but this one is going towards Virginia Beach. It's a severe thunderstorm warning here right now for quarter size hail and 6-mile-an-hour winds. See how this thing's looking. Is it developing or is it been a while? Let's see. Cat's meow. Come on. Radar is not one to move. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Look, hail and wind threat here for the storm. But there is a severe thunderstorm warning for this. But yeah, it's for quarter size hail. So you definitely keep an eye on this one if you're in Virginia Beach for this here. Virginia Beach wants to keep an eye on this storm here. Definitely if you're in Virginia Beach here. Storms are firing up now here a little bit. Here's so now this for the next morning. New York. Let's go to New York real quick here. This one, this is towards northern New York. There's a severe thunderstorm warning here in northern New York. So I'm starting to fire up a little bit here. Here, Fulton, Oswego, New Haven, Palmero, Hastings, like Shrupple, whatever. I think I'm saying that right. In New York, there's severe thunderstorm warnings here in New York here as it's going to go towards Richland here. As it's moving its way to the northeast here. Moving northeast right now. Here, this is in New York. There's a severe thunderstorm warning here for 6-mile-an-hour winds, damaging winds here. So it's mostly damaging winds. But as I said, these places don't get as much as like Kansas or the plains or south. So this could be a little bit stronger than they're used to. So definitely keep an eye if you're in New York for that. Let's go back to the one here in Georgia real quick. Here. Storm here in Georgia. That one looks to be the most concerning the moment. Here's the hail is in the storm a little bit. I think there's some hail here in the storm. Let's go back to velocity. Again, it looks like it wants to form some rotation, but then it doesn't do it. So this one's definitely the most concerning looking storm. The moment here, we'll go back to New York. Here's severe thunderstorm warnings in New York State right now. Virginia, going towards Virginia Beach. So definitely keep other work for these storms here. I'm definitely going through them and see if this one develops into anything here for you guys. Again, if you have not yet, make sure you drop a like and subscribe for this channel. We're on the road to 400 subscribers. We are like less than 40 subscribers away from 400. So we're at 261. We're 39 subscribers away from 400. And 139 from halfway to 1K here. So we're trying to get towards 1K, but our goal is to get to 1K here ultimately right now. So let's keep dropping a like and subscribe here. Just the more people that subscribe, like, share the stream, we can give out people more information here. More money I can potentially, if I get monetized, I can potentially more money into making improving the stream, helping giving people aware of stuff. Keep an eye on the storm here. I haven't had a tornado warning or anything, but it has 6-mile winds here. And there's some mergers on the storm, so it's the biggest supercell so far. Go back to Texas real quick. Just want to keep peeking at Texas here. I think most of it's tonight, so I think can develop there is slight risk in Texas. So you want to definitely keep eyes on these. Good, right? So that's good. Again, you want to keep eyes in Texas because there's some severe weather in Texas too. Couple hail. I can see the hail slots here. There again, it's a little bit of rotation. Looks like could potentially be happening from this, but it hasn't done anything. Oh, did it just update again? So it wants to do something, and boom, takes over. So yeah, it did that again. So it did that again, where it looks like it wants to do something, and nope, it says no. It's done that a few times. And let's go back now to Virginia Beach real quick. I'll get looking at this one real quick for you guys. Give you guys looks on the storm real quick. This one's just mostly hail right now. Looks like hail damaging winds right now. Some hail forming going towards Chesapeake, Virginia Beach here. The storm is moving to the northeast right now. It's moving decently fast too. So if you're in Chesapeake, Virginia Beach, keep an eye on these storms here. There is some severe thunderstorms going towards you guys, right? Back to North Carolina real quick. This one, again, it looks like it's just mostly damaging winds, but this one doesn't look overly concerning. It doesn't look super strong. I don't think it looks super strong right now. But definitely keep an eye on it, but it doesn't look overly like big or strong for me right now. Let's go back up to New York real quick here. Go look at these storms up here in New York. There's a severe thunderstorm warning in northern New York here. For damaging winds. It looks like it's just mostly a damaging wind threat. Again, as I said, the bigger these lines are, you see there's kind of a, as I said, people trying to learn information about storms here to give you guys kind of an idea. You see how these things have this long band of storms like that? Normally that means damaging winds. It's a long storm like that, it's normally just damaging winds. There sometimes can be tornadoes out of these things, but normally it's more damaging wind. And if there's tornadoes, even from these, they're normally pretty weak. So this is the kind of, it's called a squall line. Things are called squall lines, and they develop more damaging winds than anything. There's the damaging wind threats. Sometimes they get hail, sometimes they get small tornado in there. Normally it's damaging winds. Those are the big threats from those. Strong winds. From those, that's definitely something to know if you're, especially if you're in New York or something, maybe not know severe weather, that's more strong winds. So it's concerning, but not like tornado. Tornado is pretty common like that. Maybe slight. Keep an eye on this, but I don't see anything yet. Protest getting this. Butler Reynolds, you guys have these. I wonder if they're going to extend this severe thunderstorm warning or not, because it's here, but it's starting to move a little bit. So we'll see if it extend it or make a longer one for this. Welcome, guys. If you're not yet, drop a like and subscribe. If we keep found stuff right now. Storms are firing up a little bit here in the East Coast right now. But we'll see if anything else develops. Here next. A little bit time here is there's storms starting to develop here in the East Coast a little bit. Mostly just damaging wind threats right now. This one's probably the most, and it's not even that concerning compared to some storms. Right now we don't have it had a tornado warning 1. It was there for a little bit and it was canceled pretty fast here, so there's not a lot right now in terms of like tornadic storms, and I probably wouldn't expect as much as it has been over the last few days. But definitely keep an eye on these here. There is a slight risk in New York City, so we're going to keep an eye on these storms. But yeah, definitely keep an eye on these storms. Here. I do want to get some stuff for you guys here. We're definitely watching these storms, but there's currently not mostly damaging winds here for you guys here. Definitely keep. Yeah, it looks like they want to develop stuff, but it doesn't do anything. So, okay, this one may be. I don't know if this is gonna be turning in a squall line either, but mostly it looks like this one may be trying to develop in the squall line too. But we'll see. Keep an eye on it. If it wants to be a supercell squall line, we would definitely keep an eye on that one because it could be damaging winds, tornado stuff. As these storms are forming, yeah, back to Alabama, these storms are forming a little bit here. in Alabama here. Currently, some storms forming here. Alabama, these might be more. So we'll keep an eye on these. Some storms forming here in Alabama towards Tuskegee, Alabama, going towards Columbus, Georgia. Here, slowly going that way. Right now, there's not any severe weather on those, but yeah. Let's go back up here. Check on the one in North Carolina. Severe thunderstorm warning here. Again, this one doesn't look like it's gonna be like completely crazy here in North Carolina, but there is a severe thunderstorm warning on this one, so keep an eye on this storm here. On this one. Let's go back to the one towards. See this one a little bit. This one still has some. It has some hail and some. There's no location really on this one, so there's a severe thunderstorm warning here on this one as it's moving towards Chesapeake, Virginia Beach here for potentially for some damaging winds here. So if you're in Chesapeake, Virginia Beach, if you guys want to watch out for this storm here. There's 5 severe, or is it just an updated one? It may just be. There's one in North Carolina. We'll go back to that one in just a second, but here's this one in Oswego right now. Near Oswego, there's in Mexico. If you're in Mexico or Hastings, or then there's a chance for damaging winds here in New York here. So definitely want to keep track of that here. Again, there's no rotation at all in these storms. So there's starting to pop up a little bit here. That one, oh no, the one in New York had been, and there's currently 6 at the moment. Severe thunderstorm warnings. This one's continuing on this one here. As this one again has damaging winds here in New York, in North Carolina. It's currently mostly wind threats, but yeah, it's mostly just a wind threat, so just keep an eye on it. I might be in and out through the day, so definitely want to keep it. If it stays like this, I might go back on here in just a minute, take a break here. I just want to keep coverages going if we can, if we need to. There's some Marie telling you probably. But yeah, it might be in and out through there. So if this thing doesn't keep firing like this, I would be in and out through there, probably give it an update every once in a while here. We'll see here because there just doesn't look like a lot of mostly damaging wind threats right now, which I could see. But there's a chance for some tornadoes later on, so I might see that here. But that way. Definitely want to keep an eye on it. I'll come back here in probably a little bit.